Now, you also said one time you wrote an article about Roberto Clemente, and as a result of it, he didn't talk to you for a year.
Yeah, well, that's true. Sports Illustrated sent me to Puerto Rico in the off-season. He was a great baseball player by that time, a tremendous, certain Hall of Famer. And the one chink in his armor was that he was suspected of being a hypochondriac, often wanting to take himself out of the lineup. And it annoyed his teammates because, as one of them later put it, years later, Bill Mazeroski, he said a 50% Clemente is better for our outcome on the field than another guy who's 100%. So anyhow, they wanted me to do a full-length profile, Sports Illustrated did on Clemente. I went up to his beautiful home on a hilltop overlooking Rio Piedras and the bay, and knocked on a door, and we'd known each other for years because I hung around the Pirates. And I said, "How are you, Roberto?" His response was, "How am I? I'll tell you how I am." He backs off into the living room, a big sunken living room, throws himself on the floor, lifts his legs up in the air. He says, "When I wake up in the morning," he says, "it's boom, a disc moving." And he says, "and I need attention from Vera or somebody." And he says, "Then there comes another boop." And he's demonstrating all these boops. You can hear the boops. And I says, "It's beginning to look as though it's true what they say about this guy." Well, without going into chapter and verse, Roberto reported everything in the medical books as being maladies that he had been through. And it was written in good humor, but the magazine did me no favor with Roberto by putting a large picture of him in with the story where they labeled in little boxes every part of his anatomy that he'd ever complained about.
Oh, they had the picture of him with the arrows to the different body parts?
And so he didn't speak to me for a year, but one day started speaking to me. A very proud man, and he knew that the ball players were reading that article and had to be laughing. He knew that, and it wounded his pride. But we resumed being friends.
On the clubhouse with that particular expression on his face and say, "Oh my goodness, how can I go near the great Roberto Clemente when he doesn't look happy?"
Well, I tell you one thing. I tell you the truth. I don't like lots of writers. This is something that I don't want to deny it, and I know. I tell you why I don't like lots of writers. The writers live of what we do. They might write about sport, football, whatever they want to write. That's fine. I think if I was a writer, the first thing I would try to do is have a good relation with the players. I never criticize a writer that I think that he's sincere of what he's writing. But lots of these writers, they go to you, and they put the interview in a way that they sound like you have said that when you don't say exactly that. See?